ma'am.
Yeah, you were telling something.
How in alcohols, ma'am?
Hmm.
How to prepare butane from ethanol?
How to find out?
How to prepare butane from ethanol?
Your voice is not quite clear. If you can write it on the board, how to prepare
Butane from ethanol.
butane from ethanol. Okay. Right. Let me do it before. By the time they come, we can do it, isn't it? So butane is this. Which butane you want? One or two?
One.
One butane. Okay. CH3, CH2, C triple bond, CH. Want it from
Ethanol.
C2H5OH. Okay. So first of all, you need to convert. There are two methods. Okay. It depends upon what kind of question they have asked. First of all, you need to convert it into its halide because OH is not a very good leaving group. Okay.
Yes.
To make it either Br using PBr3 or something like that. Okay.
Yes.
And then you have to convert this one to this Wurtz reaction, Ne. So it becomes butane, isn't it?
Yes.
CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. Now what you do? You do this one, that is bromination, free radical. Free radical bromination means it will come here, isn't it?
Yes.
And then the 5 steps are in that. First you do the bromination, you will get CH3, CH2, CH. You have to take the most stable one here. Other products are also formed, but anyway, you are going to consider this, okay? Br2 in light. And then what you do, you bring about dehydrohalogenation. Dehydrohalogenation, if you do, you're going to get a double bond here, isn't it?
Yes.
So in that case, butane, it will be, somehow you have to get dehydrohalogenation. If you do CH3, CH, double bond CH, CH3 you will get, isn't it? Now you have to add Br2 in CCl4. You will get vicinal dihalide, right?
Yes.
When you do vicinal dihalide, no, you are going to get only Br and Br, okay? So you will get vicinal dihalide. Then somehow you have to get bromine in this, fine. You have to get the terminal one, dehydrohalogenation. Supposing you use a very strong base, okay, you can do that, NaNH2. You will get the terminal one in this case, okay?
Yes.
Very strong base, if you use, the base is going to take away proton from the terminal carbon. This one you will get. Now you will get, okay, CH3, CH2, CH double bond CH2 you will get, okay? Now you have to do HBr. You have to add HBr. You will get geminal dihalide. Am I right? Br and Br here. Okay, there is a long one. This one is, otherwise you can do one more thing, which is you have to make it into this, and then you have to take ethine, CH double bond CH, make it react with silver AgNO3, or you can even use sodium when it is going to form an acetylide. Okay, so you are going to get this ion, CH triple bond C minus Na plus or Ag plus or something like that. Now you make it react. This is the best method for competitive examination. Okay.
Okay.
So this, you are going to make it react with this. Plus C2H5 Br. Okay. So this is going to give you this one. Otherwise, you have to follow the methods where it gives you geminal dihalide. Then only you are going to get an alkyne. Okay.
Yes.
The one which I did till the last. HBr twice you have to add, you are going to get a geminal dihalide. And from there you are going to get an alkyne. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, thank you.
I think students have come. Let's start. Good afternoon to all the students. Do you
Good
all
afternoon.
can hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. So my voice is clear today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, fine. Can I get an S from all the students?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, good. Good. Today we shall take up the second part of aldehydes and ketones, some more examples, and one or two questions I have taken from the previous one where I had left it because for you to think. Okay. I had taken the answers and I had left some. I think two questions also I have taken. One I remember, second one I don't remember. When we come to that, we will see that. Okay. So what are the characteristic reactions of aldehydes and ketones? Nucleophilic addition reactions. You are all familiar with that, isn't it? Correct? Nucleophilic addition reaction happens purely because of the C double bond O group in the carbonyl compounds. This group, as we said in the previous class, oxygen is more electronegative. This end of the molecule will be slightly negative. Carbonyl carbon will be slightly positive. Okay. So HCN, when you add, you have to consider this as H plus CN minus. This is a nucleophile here. So H plus has to go to oxygen, Cn minus has to come here, isn't it? So that is how you are going to get a cyanohydrine, OH and Cn. How important is this compound? Why it is we have to study this? When you hydrolyze this, it is going to give alpha hydroxy carboxylic acid, which otherwise is difficult to prepare. Okay, that is the importance of this method. So you have to hydrolyze this. When you hydrolyze this, what you get? See, these are the two groups which are there. One OH is there, cyanide is going to get converted to COH, alpha hydroxy acid. Okay, so that is how these reactions are important. Sometimes they will ask you the question like which of the following is very reactive towards nucleophilic substitution. That time you are supposed to see the steric hindrance. Aldehydes are more reactive to all these nucleophilic addition reactions because in case of aldehydes, this carbon will be little more polar, right? So this is also important. This is also called a second one, addition of water. Gem alcohols are formed. Supposing you take any aldehyde and say this say CH3, ketones are also going to react, but as I said, it will be less reactive than aldehydes, plus H2O. So you are going to get CH3, CH is there, this is going to become OH, this is also going to become OH. This is called as hydrate of acetaldehyde. Another name given to this is hydrate. Okay. So in competitive examination, they may not ask you like, you know, addition of water gives gem diols and all those things. But they can ask you which of the following is most reactive in the formation of a hydrate. So you should understand that they're speaking about the reaction of carbonyl compounds with water. Okay? Yes? Any doubt here? So in the previous class, I had asked you one example. Do you remember which of the following is most reactive? We had something like this, CH3 here, CH3 there, and you had this compound, supposing if it is CH3 and H here, and you have got this compound, hydrogen and hydrogen, that is methanol, and say one more compound, this PH and PH. Okay, so which of these four is most reactive or is capable of forming the hydrate easily? If I ask you this question, what is your answer? That is basically reaction with water. Each of these four. Yeah. Somebody is waiting, let me admit. Okay. Yes, yeah, that is how you're going to find out. Methanol. So because only two hydrogens, no steric hindrance here, the maximum polarity of this bond you will see here. Carbon here is most polar, most positive. Okay, so that is how These reactions are important. Supposing another factor which affects this hydrate formation is the presence of electron withdrawing group like this. If you have any electron withdrawing group, it can easily form the hydrate, because that is going to, supposing you have got chloral. Chloral is trichloroacetaldehyde, C double bond OH. Now, these are the 3 electron withdrawing groups. This carbon becomes positive. In turn, this carbon becomes even more positive, isn't it? Compared to acetaldehyde. So if you compare acetaldehyde and chloral, among these two, this one will form the hydrate very easily. In fact, the hydrate of chloral is more stable than this. So they can ask you the same question in this form also. Which of the following compounds is capable of forming the most stable hydrate? The same question, most stable hydrate. The concept remains the same. So in this case, you have to choose this. If electron withdrawing groups are there, it is going to make this carbon more positive, and therefore it will choose to form the hydrate and become stable. Okay? This is clear to you? Any doubt? If you have any doubt, you have to ask me. Hope you followed this. What is the product formed here? It has to react with water, again hydrate formation. But the question is, you have got 3 carbonyl groups. Which carbonyl group is going to undergo hydrate formation or going to add to a molecule of water? What is the product formed? The product formed would be, you can mark the carbonyl group which is going to form the hydrate. Benzene ring remains as such. Yeah, double bond O. See this double bond O. This double bond O has got 2 electron withdrawing groups, isn't it? These two have got 1 with, yes, that is the one which undergoes. And this is also a question which is asked, I think last year or before last year. What is the product formed in this reaction is? In this very compound was taken. You are going to get this. It is more stable. Okay. Addition of alcohols, it forms acetals and hemiacetals. You should be able to find out the acetal and hemiacetal form. That is very important. Okay. Right. Addition of sodium bisulfite. This is one of the distinguishing reactions between aldehydes and ketones. Ketones do not generally form bisulfite addition product because of steric hindrance. It is the aldehyde which is going to form. So this is another very important reaction. Nucleophilic addition elimination reactions, basically you are adding derivatives of ammonia and its derivatives. If you simply add ammonia to any of the carbonyl compounds, let's take acetone, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. How are you going to get the product here? You will write it like this, NH2 and then NH2, this side you are going to write. Okay, so this will be like this, NH, H2. So basically you can understand that this hydrogen goes with this. Okay, you will get CH3, CH3, C double bond. You just have to bring that nitrogen and hydrogen. This is an imine. Imine formation happens. So it is addition and then followed by later on. You can consider this reaction. Addition happens first and then elimination. That is the reason you have got the double bond still intact, isn't it? Now, if it is, this reaction is an imine, you all can understand. But if I take a primary amine, then what is the product form? That is very important. The primary amine, if I take, say for example, I take CH3NH2. In this case, this hydrogen goes away with this oxygen. So you should be getting this product, CH3. This is true for any carbonyl compound, NCH3. This is called as a substituted imine and it is called as Schiff's base. Schiff's base. They can ask you this question. Which of the following compounds can form Schiff's base? So primary amines. when they react with carbonyl compounds, you're going to get a substituted imine, which is nothing but your Gibbs base. Okay? So these are all important in this. So ammonia and ammonia derivatives, most of you are quite familiar with those reactions because you would have studied it for your board exam also, isn't it? But for your reference, just to recall it, these are the reactions. Ammonia I told you just now, and primary amine also I told you. NH2 hydrazine. So if you substitute one of the NH2 with OH group, it becomes hydroxylamine. And take this NH2 itself, substitute one of the hydrogens with a phenyl group, then you are going to get phenyl hydrazine. So I will be getting this. Easy to remember. Phenyl group. Now take the same phenyl group here, NH2NH, and put that phenyl group here, and at the second and fourth position put NO2. You are going to get 2,4-dinitrophenyl hydrazine. It is going to form hydrazone, 2,4-dinitrophenyl hydrazone, isn't it? Both aldehydes and ketones they form. Which is the next one? Next one is semicarbazide. NH2 is here. One of the hydrogens you are going to substitute with an amide group. Remove this, put one NH, CONH2, C double bond O NH2. This is your semicarbazide. So this is how you're going to remember all this, okay? So that is a reaction with this. So these two reactions are important. You can note down, you can write the product here, okay? Now let's see what else is there about the reactions of this. Reduction reactions, very important. Reduction to alcohols, you can use any of the famous reducing agents. Okay, so lithium aluminum hydride, sodium borohydride, any of those reducing agents, they will reduce aldehydes to primary alcohols, ketones to secondary alcohols. Okay, so these are all, and you can even use catalytic hydrogenation of this. Okay, H2P, TPD, any of those things can be used. But if you want to reduce the carbonyl compounds all the way down to hydrocarbons, then there are two methods. Clemmensen reduction, which happens in the acidic medium, very, very important. Zinc amalgam and concentrated hydrochloric acid is used. Basic medium, if you want, Wolff-Kissner reduction. So there are some groups, supposing you have got this compound. Say for example, you have got this, say double bond O, or I can take it in the side chain also. Even here it is reduction is possible. Supposing I have got this compound, okay, double bond O, and there is a Cl here. I want to convert this one to this compound, Cl I want here. Then which one you are going to use? If you use the basic medium NH2NH2, this will be substituted. And therefore, in that case, you have to use it in acidic medium. Sometimes they will ask you this. Which of the following is the best reagent for conversion? You should see whether there is a nucleophilic substitution is possible or not. If nucleophilic substitution is there, then you have to choose the reagent. Okay? So that is how these two reactions are important. Fine? Any doubt?
Can you repeat?
Wolff-Kissner, this one. Okay, so this is in acidic medium. You have got H plus and Cl minus as there. Okay, concentrated HCl. This is in basic medium. NH2NH2, that is the hydrazine, that is a reagent. Sodium or put sodium or potassium hydroxide, correct? You have got NH2 minus, OH minus as the nucleophile which are there. So these are very strong nucleophiles. Okay, if there is any nucleophile which can be substituted in the carbonyl compound, these will substitute. So that is the reason in that case you will have to use acid medium. We have got questions based on this. There also you will understand that. Okay. Let's move on to the other reactions. That is this oxidation. Oxidation is very important. Oxidation of aldehydes to carboxylic acids. You can use any of the strong and weak, both are possible. Among the strong oxidizing agents, you have got nitric acid, potassium permanganate, potassium dichromate. Mild oxidizing agents also can bring about the change here tolerance reagent, Fehling solution, Benedict solution, all these can oxidize aldehydes. But ketones are a little difficult to oxidize. Even if they undergo oxidation using strong oxidizing agents, its bond is going to break and you are going to get more than one carboxylic acids. And that too, those carboxylic acids will have carbon lesser than the reactant. That is what is important. One such reaction is given here. So this is a ketone. This is a very strong oxide. A mild oxidizing agent, in fact, they don't oxidize. In fact, these are the distinguishing reactions between aldehydes and ketones. Here you are using a strong oxidizing agent KMNO for an acidic medium. So what it does, it breaks up this bond here. So therefore, this part also is going to be oxidized. CO2 you are going to get. Initially, basically, you are going to get initially this acid and HCOOH, formic acid, because methyl group can be oxidized to formic acid. And because this is a strong oxidizing agent, further oxidation happens, you will get CO2 plus H2O. That is what you are going to get. Okay. So this is about the ketone. Sometimes they will ask you this in the exam, like which of the following products are possible when this ketone, some ketone they might give you is oxidized using potassium permanganate or potassium dichromate. You should be able to identify that. Okay. Any doubt? The bond cannot break here. Even if it is breaking, it becomes 3 degrees. That cannot be oxidized very easily, isn't it? There is only one possibility in this particular compound. Okay. But if the compound were to be like this, then there were more than one. Supposing there is a carbon, C double bond, CH3. Now the bond can break here. The bond can break here also. In that case, you will get one more product. Which is that product? This will be COOH. COOH and acetic acid, CH3, COOH. So you should be able to identify that. Okay. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Yes. Now let's move on to the, I think they have got one, oxidation of ketones to lower carboxylic acid. See, there is one example here. Now, if you take the cyclohexanone, cyclohexanone is a ketone, the bond can break here. You will get only this product. But if there is a methyl group, then the bond can break between 1 and 2, this bond, and when you get that product which is indicated there. This is the product. COCH3. The ketone group will remain as such. And further you can write, this also can undergo further reaction to give COOH, CO2 and H2. That possibility is there. Okay, but immediate product would be this. Or it can break here also, in which case you are going to get this product. Both are possible. Okay. Yes. Hope you all understood this. Okay. Oxidation of ketones to lower, this is Bayer, that is another one which is oxidation of ketones, specifically Bayer-Villiger oxidation. In this case, you are going to use a peroxide. Any peroxide can be used. Metachloroperoxybenzoic acid can be used. Hydrogen peroxide is also can be used. Along with that, BF3 is used, which is a Lewis acid. Okay. So in this case, ketones will be oxidized to an ester. You have to put oxygen here. So in this case, where are you going to put oxygen? That is the question here. Either you can put it here or you can put it there. Okay. So basically the one which is, if you put this oxygen here, the one which is positively charged oxygen carbon will be here. So a more stable carbocation is found here. To that side, you are going to put the oxygen. If you remember that, then you will be able to identify the product. Okay. This will be a primary carbocation. This will be a 2 degrees. So you have to break this bond here and put oxygen there. Okay. Any doubt here? Bayer-Villiger oxidation. Hope all of you got it. One more example is there. Here also you are putting the oxygen here, not there, in this case. So you can either put it here or put it there because it is C. The problem comes only when you have CH3 here. Then, as I said, you have to break it here. Okay? Any doubt? Hope all of you got this. Okay? Fine. Reactions due to alpha hydrogen. Very, very important. Aldol condensation. Normal aldol condensation, all of you can identify. I know that. But if the compound is like this, supposing if it is like this, CH2, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more C double bond OH. Now when you make it react with NaOH, 10% NaOH solution, what is the product formed here? Any idea? In this case, you have to be careful. Within the molecule, the aldol condensation is going to happen, isn't it? This is alpha hydrogen. It's simple, very easy. If you know the concept, you can write. If you do not know the concept, then it becomes difficult. This one is also alpha. Okay, so either this hydrogen can be removed or that hydrogen can be removed. Both are same. Imagine that the base is going to take away this proton. Okay, so you are going to get this as CH minus. And this carbon in the cargo group, this will be slightly positive. Now you are supposed to form a bond between these two carbons. So for that, what you do, you number them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that means you are getting a 5-membered ring, isn't it? Supposing if this is a carbon 1, that carbon 1, if I take this as 1, this has to become OH initially. This is the second, third, fourth, and fifth. At the 5th carbon, you have got a CHO group. Isn't it? Put it just like that. Okay. Now when it is heated, you have got alpha protons here also, and there is one here as well. Which side you think a double bond will be formed? That is very, very important. Try to understand this, okay? All of you got this? Any doubt here? Up till here, any doubt? You ask me. No doubt, right? Okay, now you can answer this. So now, as you said, we have got two possibilities. This possibility, write both of them. When you are practicing, you have a lot of time now. When you are practicing, you write both the possibilities. CHO, I have got hydrogen here. I can get a double bond here by removing this proton and OH. This is what happens when you heat it. Or there is one more possibility, which will be, I will get a double bond here and a CHO there. C double bond OH. Which of these two is you are going to get? This one or this one? Which is the major one? That is very, very important. They might give you, yes, this is a major. Because there is conjugation. Conjugated dienes, double bonds are always more stable. Two double bonds separated by a single bond. Isn't it? This is not conjugated. This is isolated. This is conjugated. Okay. So now you practice questions of this type. Right? So you can take ketonic group now and try that. The same question. Instead of two CHO groups, you write ketonic group and then try the same reaction. Okay? Take it as a homework and do it. Fine? So this is aldol condensation. Cross aldol condensation is between two different aldehydes or different ketones or aldehydes and ketones. You just have to, observe which one is going to act as an electrophile, which one is going to act as a nucleophile. Okay? Supposing I have got these two for cross aldol condensation, acetaldehyde and acetone, CH3C double bond O CH3. How many different products are formed when it undergoes aldol condensation? If I give you the option 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. How many different products are formed when these two undergo cross aldol condensation? When they react with OH minus. 4 different products, isn't it? This will give its own condensation product. This will give its own condensation product. These two will give, in one compound, this will act as an electrophile, this will act as a nucleophile. In the other one, this will act as an electrophile. 4 different products are formed. Okay, in that case also, you will be asked to identify the major product. So in that case, what you're going to see, you are going to see the stability of the alkene that you are getting. Okay, so then you will be able to identify the major product. Okay, any doubt? Now supposing for cross-aldol condensation, if you take, definitely the positive charge on this carbon will be more. This is a stronger electrophile. So this would act as a nucleophile and that product will be a major product. Okay, fine? Yes, cross-aldol and all those things. Other reactions like Cannizaro's reaction is given by those aldehydes and ketones which do not have any alpha hydrogens. Electrophilic aromatic substitution, the carbonyl group is an electron withdrawing group, so therefore it is meta-directing. So if you take the CHO, then if it is nitrated, halogenated, chlorination, whatever, meta substitution is going to happen. Okay, so those are the reactions. Now coming to carboxylic acids, little bit of carboxylic acids are also you're going to study, but for competitive examination, you will get good questions from carboxylic acid. So you have to be very careful in that. Okay, so these are all the nomenclature. In this case, there are 3 COOH groups. None of them can be given any priority. Therefore, you consider as a derivative of propane. Propane 1,2,3 tricarboxylic acid. So this you can write phenyl ethanoic acid because this is a functional group which is in the side chain. Benzene 1,2-dicarboxylic acid, or it is also known as phthalic acid. Phthalic acid. Okay, so those names are also used. Sometimes nomenclature is important. What are the methods of preparation? Very simple methods, but they are important. So in this case, from primary alcohols and aldehydes, just use the oxidizing agents. Okay, strong oxidizing, mild oxidizing agent if you use, the reaction would stop at the aldehydic stage. And if you use a strong oxidizing agent like Collins reagent, CrO3 in CH2Cl2, it becomes non-aqueous. There also the reaction is going to stop at the aldehydic stage. Whereas Jones reagent, which is CrO3 in dilute H2SO4, aqueous medium. So that is going to oxidize the carboxylic acid. So this is the method in which you are going to get, and alkyl benzene is very, very important. How much ever big is the group, it is going to, the benzylic carbon is the one which is going to get oxidized. You are going to get benzoic acid. Okay. Any doubt? Hydrolysis of acid derivatives. Any of the acid derivatives you can take. Say for example, you are taking nitriles, amides, esters, anhydrides, acids. All these are derivatives of acids. They all undergo hydrolysis to give the corresponding acid. That is the method. And from Grignard reagent, very famous reaction, you have to use carbon dioxide. The alkyl group depends on the R here, Grignard reagent. Okay. Yes. So then, effect of substituents, that is acidity of carboxylic acid. If electron withdrawing groups are there, then it becomes more acidic because the carboxylate ion that is going to be stabilized, isn't it? The order is this: electron withdrawing group. CF3 is most electron withdrawing. Then comes NO2. Then comes cyanide, chloride, bromide. Okay. So which of these 3 is most acidic? This one, if I take. Yes, because of the ortho effect. Generally, students will take it as least because OCH3 is close by. But you have to consider the ortho effect here. That's correct. So this is most reactive. Then comes the meta because it can exercise only minus effect. Then comes this. Okay, fine. So this one here, it is generally asked questions, students get confused. If there are 2 COOH groups, they think that it is highly stabilized, but you can see the pKa 4.46. Okay, 4.46, which is less acidic than 4.19, which is benzoic acid. However, the most the most acidic one is the nitrobenzoic acid. Okay, so this is also sometimes they are going to ask. I have seen generally students, they get confused here. Now, because you have these two same values, you can compare. And among the nitrocarboxylic acids, we have taken this one up, NO2 ortho position, because of ortho effect, 2.17, it is highly acidic. Then comes the meta position, where it can exercise minus R and minus L. And then comes, sorry, para position, then comes the meta position, it can exercise only minus. Okay, so these are all very, very important concepts. Any doubt? Some noise coming. What is that noise?
Background noise is something.
Yeah. Some scribbling noise. Then coming to the reactions of carboxylic acids. Formation of anhydrides, that is basically reactions involving the breaking up of COH bond. Esterification, reaction with PCl5, that is halogenation, reaction with ammonia. All these reactions involve. Reactions involving COOH groups, that is reduction and decarboxylation. Both are very important. Okay. And then you have substitution in the hydrocarbon. This is something related to hydrocarbon. Hell Vellard-Zelinsky reaction, alpha halogen.
Ma'am, there's some background noise.
Background noise, I don't know from where it is coming.
It's your voice is not audible because of that.
In my case, there is nothing. I am in a place where there is absolutely no disturbance. Maybe one of the students, this thing perhaps is like that. Now the sound is not coming, correct?
No, ma'am.
Yeah.
It stopped.
Yes. Okay. So now I think all the students can hear me. Can I get an S from all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
There was some disturbance in between, but I think it is rectified now. That is good. Okay, fine. So any doubt in these concepts which I spoke to you thus far? So far what we spoke, hope you all understood that, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. So then Hell Vellard-Zelinsky reaction. Have you studied this? I think it is there. Very simple, very famous reaction. But only thing is competitive examination, they will not give you a direct question like this. Sometimes this will be substituted with some other nucleophile and further reaction will happen. So for that, you should be able to identify that the initial substitution where it is happening. That's all. For that, this is important. Okay? No, otherwise the reaction is very simple. Yeah, let's take up the first question. First question is very simple. All of you can answer this. Match the products in column B with the corresponding reaction in column A. First one is electrophilic aromatic substitution, basically preparation of a ketone. Yes. What is happening here? Yeah. Okay. Now you can. First one is no. This I suppose. First one is C2H5 plus 1. I think this is first. Oh, somebody has answered. Correct. I can write 1 here. Yes. Then go to the second one. C6H5 twice CH2 twice CD. Yeah, that is also correct. Because in this case, the electrophile generated will be CH2, this one. Okay. Then this one, CH3, C triple bond addition of water to that. Basically, yes, that is 3. Fourth one, of course, is this one. Yeah, that's correct. All of you got the answers? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let's move on to the next second question. The major product in the following reaction. This is also a simple one. We all can answer this. The major product formed in the reaction is, first one, so phenyl magnesium bromide you are going to get. Then that is reacting with carbon dioxide. Initially, the product formed would be with magnesium at the net meta position. You have this, let it be there. So you will get MgBr. Now this will be the negative sign, carbanion, which is going to add to carbon dioxide. C double bond O, one of the bonds you can keep it as such. This phenyl group will come here, isn't it? At the meta position you have got Br, so this will be like this. So it becomes O minus, and further hydrolysis, it should give you carboxylic acid, right? So this is going to become OH. Yes. 3-bromo, bromine I have written. Nitro should be there. That's correct. 3-nitro-benzoic acid. This has to be the nitro. Yeah, NO2. That's correct. So correct option is option 3, right? Okay. Move on to the next question. This was also a quite simple one. Let's move on to the next question, which is like this. Acidified potassium permanganate is a very strong oxidizing agent. Considering this fact, identify the product P. What is the product P here? COOH. Yes, I think we had taken up this, right? Correct. So the bond is going to break here. Both the sides oxidation should happen now. You have to break this bond. This will become COOH. This is a ketonic part. Put oxygen on either side first. Because it is an aldehyde, initially you will get this, not a problem. That is how you are going to identify this product. Initially, it will be hydrogen double bond O, right? This will be C double bond O. Because it is a strong oxidizing agent, this aldehyde group can be oxidized further to carboxylic acid, whereas ketonic group will remain as such. This will be COOH, ketonic part will remain as such, CH3 double bond O. So which is the correct option here? The last one, isn't it? This one. Yes, very important. Write down somewhere. Okay. So this is how you're going to identify. So basically, whenever you remember one thing, whenever you use KMnO4, you have to just break the double bond, put oxygen across, just like your oxidative Wood analysis. But if you are getting an aldehyde like this, it gets further oxidized. COOH. Then absolutely no confusion. You will always get the correct answer. Okay? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, fine. Let's move on to the next one. This is what I was telling you about. I just left it in the previous class because I thought you will be thinking, somebody said ether, right? N-acetyl. How N-acetyl is formed? So H plus you have got. H plus is going to form a bond with this first. Okay, when it forms a bond with this pi bond, and it will go to this, a more stronger or more stable carbocation is formed, right? So this will be the more stable one. It can be here also, but more stable one is this. So therefore, and then what happens? You got oxygen there. The nucleophile will come and form a bond. The nucleophile here is this one. In any case, this hydrogen will be expelled later on. So you can take this as OC2H5 minus is the nucleophile, which will come and form a bond. As soon as this comes and forms a bond, this will be OCH3. This carbon will have two OCH3 groups, and hence it becomes an acetyl, not an ether. Isn't it? So this carbon, if you take, it has got two alkoxy groups, this one. One is the C2H5, of course. Another one is this one. This is also an alkoxy group only, even though it is cyclic. Okay. Any doubt? So hence correct option has to be acetyl. Now you followed? The student who had answered it as an ether. I had left it like that. Okay. Any doubt here?
Ma'am,
No, ester is not formed here.
ma'am, why this is
An acetyl. Yeah. No hemiacetal. This is only an acetyl. I will explain it once again. Try to understand this. Okay. Basically, these are not two different reagents. It is actually C2H5 in H plus anhydrous. Anhydrous hydrochloric acid is used. So that means you have got plenty of H plus ions. They will come and form a bond with the pi electrons here. Okay. Once it is formed, you are going to get this first. The pi bond opens. You are going to get where this, after forming a bond, either this hydrogen can go to this carbon or to this carbon. But it will go to this carbon because a more stable carbocation is formed. That is because of the electron density, it will be stabilized. It is very close to oxygen. Once this is formed, immediately you have got this methoxide, OC2H5. That will come and form a bond. So when it forms a bond, it looks like this. Okay, OC2H5. It is a cyclic acetyl. Cyclic acetyl. How are you going to identify an acetyl? C2H5. The same carbon must have two OC2 OR groups. Then it is an acetyl. This is one R here. This is also R only, no? Even though it is cyclic, OR this side. And therefore it becomes acetyl. Correct? Yes or no? Now
Yes.
it is understood. It's a very important question. Hope all of you followed it now, right? We'll move on to the next one. Which of the following acids does not exhibit? This one also I had taken, but I think we did not explain it properly, right? Yeah, malic acid, tartaric acid. What kind of isomerism it can show? Tartaric acid, lactic acid, and alpha amino acids. You should know the malic acid. I think we have taken all this. Okay, fine. So hope this is clear to you, all of you. If it is not clear, then you should know the structure of it. Explain. Okay, explain. Yes, I'll do that. That is good. I'll explain this. Let's take the structure of all this. Tartaric acid is basically a dicarboxylic acid. Butane, dihydroxy also. So COOH. You have got COH, H, COH, H. This is your tartaric acid. I have written mesotartaric acid. It has got D and L also. Okay. These OH groups must be interchanged. Then you have got lactic acid, which is CH3, COOH, and then OH. Some noise is coming from the student side. Somebody is sitting outside, I suppose. It is a noise of dipping. That is the reason. Okay? Not from my side. This is hydrogen. This is your, this is your, once again, lactic acid, CH3, CHOH, COOH. Yes, this is lactic acid. Second one. Malic acid is, as I said, C double bond C. It is an unsaturated acid. COOH, COOH, H and H. Alpha amino acids, you all know that NH2 group will be there at the alpha position. The CO. This is alpha carbon. This could be any group or NH. These are alpha amino acids. This is alpha carbon. Alpha carbon has got an NH2 group. Okay. So in all the other three, you can see a chiral carbon, except malic acid. Okay. A chiral carbon is there. In fact, this has got two chiral carbons. Two chiral carbons. This has got one. This has got one. This can exhibit through, it can have 3 isomers. One is meso, other one is D and L. Sometimes they can ask you this. How many isomers, stereoisomers are possible for tartaric acid? 4 is it? How come 4? 3 only, isn't it? D and L, and then 1 meso. This is a meso tartaric acid, optically inactive, right? And D and L would be this. Malic acid is the one which cannot exhibit optical isomerism. In fact, if they had given meso tartaric acid, that also would have been a correct answer. Okay? That also cannot exhibit optical isomerism because of the presence of molecular symmetry. Am I right? Any doubt? If you have to write the optically active tartaric acid, how are you going to write? COOH, COOH, yes, no, somebody is telling. One OH that side, another OH this side, H and H. So this will have its mirror image also. Okay, this of course is optically active. Hope all of you understood this, correct? Yeah, let's move on to the next question. This one. Acetaldehyde and phenyl acetaldehyde can be distinguished chemically by
Option A, ma'am, tolerance reagent.
tolerance reagent. Acetaldehyde gives tolerance reagent test. Phenyl acetaldehyde will not give. Yeah.
Tolerance reagent, ma'am.
Okay. Fehling solution test, iodoform test. Yes. Let's take up the see the structure and then find out. Acetaldehyde is the CH3 CHO. Phenyl acetaldehyde will be one phenyl group will be there. CH2 CHO. This phenyl group. Why don't you? Why? I mean, why it can't give a tolerance reagent test? It can give, no? Semi-carbazide also it gives because both of them are aldehydes.
React with iodine and potassium
Yes,
hydroxide.
iodoform test is the correct one. This is how you go wrong. All of you know the concept. Think for a while. Write the structure and see. Both of them are aldehydes, so they have to give tolerance reagent test, Fehling test, semi-carbazide, whether it is an aldehyde or a ketone. Only distinguishing is this, because this doesn't have the grouping that is required, CH3 C double bond O, correct? The correct option for this question is this one, iodoform test. Okay, any doubt? Let's move on to the next question. This one. Which of the following reactions will not result in the formation of a carbon-carbon bond? CC bond. Woods reaction, definitely there will be a carbon-carbon bond. Why not? Reamer-Tiemann reaction. There also there will be, what is Reamer-Tiemann reaction? You have to write the reaction and see. Phenol reacts with CHCl3 in basic medium.
Option 4, ma'am,
Yes,
transurous
and
reaction.
Self-oxidation reduction happens in those aldehydes which do not contain any alpha hydrogen, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So this here you will get OH and then CH2. Carbon-carbon bond is formed. Woods reaction definitely formed. The Friedel-Crafts reaction as acylation, there also it is formed, isn't it? You have got benzene here, C double bond O CH3. This is the carbocation. This has to form a bond. Definitely it will form this one. Supposing you have got benzaldehyde, CHO. Make it react with KOH 50%. Then you are going to get this big one molecule is going to get oxidized to CH2OH. Another molecule will be reduced. This is reduced product. Oxidized product will be COO minus, isn't it? And therefore the correct option here has to be
D, ma'am.
O. Here. Yes. This one. Okay. Fine. Let's move on to the next question. The correct order of decreasing acidic strength of trichloroacetic acid, trifluoroacetic acid, acetic acid, and formic acid are.
Option third, ma'am.
Third option, B
Yes.
greater than,
A
A
greater
greater than, D greater than C.
C.
Correct. Formic acid is little more acidic than acetic acid, isn't it? And other
Yes.
two are quite obvious. Correct.
They,
That
they
is.
stabilize the carboxylate anion.
HCOOH, CH3COOH. This has got a CH3 group which is electron releasing. It doesn't have that. That is the reason this is more acidic than the other one. Okay, fine. Other two are quite obvious. So your correct option is B greater than, A greater than, D greater than C. Fine. Let's go to the next question. 1 mole of an organic compound A with formula C3H2O reacts completely with 2 moles of hydrogen iodide to form X and Y. Here is the hint for you. The hint is here. When Y is boiled with aqueous alkali, it forms Z. Z answers iodoform test. The compound A is
Methoxyethane, ma'am.
methoxyethane. That is correct. In fact, it has to be an ether when it reacts with 2 moles. But this doesn't suit the molecular formula, correct? And therefore, it has to be methoxyethane, correct? So most of the students have answered this, right? So when you consider this CH3, CH2OH in presence of an alkali and any other halogen, this will be oxidized to CH3CH4. So it gives iodoform test. Okay. So if it is ethanol, then also you should consider that reaction. Fine. Most of you have answered this question, which is very good. Go to the next one. 10th question. A mixture of benzaldehyde and formaldehyde on heating with aqueous NaOH solution gives.
Option second, ma'am. Benzyl alcohol and
Benzyl
sodium
alcohol and sodium formate. Why?
formate.
What is the reason for that? In fact, in NEET, the reason is asked. I mean, question based on the reason.
It is an example for Canizo reaction, ma'am.
That's correct. Any other?
Benzaldehyde always oxidized, ma'am.
Yeah. So basically, you're supposed to consider this dianion. This is a hydride donor. In formic acid, H, this is an intermediate which is formed.
Yes, ma'am.
This is H. So this is a better hydride donor than the other one. Okay. So if it is going to donate the hydride, this will be reduced and this will be oxidized. Correct? So that is how you are going to do. Sometimes they will ask you this one. Which of the following is a very good hydride donor? So for that, you should look for the one in which there is electron withdrawing group, isn't it? Or electron releasing, throws out that hydride. Releasing. Okay? This is an electron withdrawing. This is a better donor, this one. And hence, after donating this, that means it is oxidized, you will get sodium formate. That is how you are going to identify the product. Okay, hope all of you understood this. So the correct option is option 2. Okay, fine. Let's move on to the next question. Yeah. This is what I was telling you. Clemmensen reduction and then any other answer? Wolff-Kissner reduction. So this is Wolff-Kissner reagent, Clemmensen reduction, lithium, aluminum, that is also a good reducing agent. Hydrogen iodide, phosphorus is also a reducing agent. But these two will reduce only till the alcoholic stage. They cannot reduce the carbonyl compound to hydrocarbon. So these two are ruled out. Among these two, which one you are going to consider? So many yes. Let me clear all of them. Now you answer. Now that I gave you a hint. Zinc, mercury, HCl, amalgam and HCl. Why? If you use that, what happens, you know? If you use that, this has got plenty of H plus ions. This will protonate this. So you are going to get OH2 and that will be removed and you are going to get a double bond here. So you can't use this. Yes, this is the one. Because OH minus, it cannot do anything with this OH minus, it will be intact, isn't it? So the best reagent for this is this option 2. Note it down. It's a very important question. This one. You may note down the points which I told you just now. These two are ruled out for obvious reasons. You will get only an alcohol, not the hydrocarbon. So there are only two reactions which can reduce a carbonyl compound to a hydrocarbon. Either it is reduction in acidic medium or reduction in basic medium. Okay? Anything else? Understood all of you? Any doubt here?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. Can I get an S from all the students who have understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
One no I got. But why no? This you use. OH minus is there. OH is there. It cannot react with the same group, isn't it? So this is the best. These two are ruled out for obvious reasons. They will reduce only till alcoholic stage. Okay, fine. Now we shall move on to the next question that is very interesting. The following conversion can be done by, you have to think and then answer. Very simple one, very easy one. KMNO4NaOI4. Somebody is telling second one. Any other answers? Supposing you are using CH2C double bond O, CH3, and then CH2OH, CH2OH. What is the product formed here? It is like an alcohol only. Instead of using two molecules of alcohol, you are using a compound which has got two OH groups. So this will form this, isn't it? This opens up O and O acetyl CH3. That is exactly what happens between these two groups. So first you have to protect if you want to oxidize this. Because in the product you have these two OH groups intact. So for protecting what you do, you use a carbonyl compound. So first one is correct. And then oxidize this using potassium permanganate in acidic medium. And then you want to get back your OH group, so hydrolyze that. So correct option is this, option 2.
Second.
Formation of the acetal first, oxidation second, hydrolysis of the acetal that you got to get back your OH groups. That's all. And hence the correct option has to be option 3. Sorry, 2 option. Okay.
Second, ma'am.
It's a very good question. Very important one, especially from the point of view of NEET. Compound A in the following reaction is. This is all of you can answer. Simple. You have to look for alpha hydrogens. They are going to be little acidic there. They come out and therefore nucleophilic substitution happens there. Yes, option 2. But an obvious question. So in all those cases, if carbonyl group is there, that is an electron withdrawing group. Alpha carbon and the protons bonded to that becomes little acidic. So therefore, correct option is that. All of you, most of you have answered that, which is good. Take up this. Which of the following reaction conditions bring about the following change? I think it is the same thing, no? No, it is different. Very much similar to the one, but can bring about the following change. First one, CH3 twice O.
Ag, CH3.
Any other answer? Yes, this one.
Second, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you have to use an alcohol, isn't it? To get
Yes,
the
ma'am.
acetal. This is an acetal. and OH is still intact, which means you are supposed to use it in basic medium. Acetal formation happens both in acidic and basic medium. Even this is a good reagent, provided if there is no OH here, or if you had a Cl there, then this would have been a very good reagent. Okay, because you have the base here, so best reagent would be option 2, this one. Okay, any doubt? Let's move on to the next question. The compound A, C5H10O, forms a phenyl hydrazone and gives negative tolerance in the iodoform tests. Compound A on reduction gives N-pentane. Compound A is. In fact, this is for CET, but if it is for NEET, they will ask you the correct compound, which is the compound.
Yeah, aldehyde, ma'am.
It is an aldehyde. Negative tolerance test. It cannot be an aldehyde, isn't it? Negative tolerance test means it doesn't give aldehyde, the test. So it cannot be an aldehyde. It has to be. And then he says it reacts with phenyl hydrazone, which means it has to be either aldehyde or ketone. But aldehyde is ruled out because it doesn't give this test. So it has to be a ketone. Isn't it? So correct option has to be ketone. If I ask you this question, which is the ketone? C5H10O. This is the compound. Sometimes they can ask you the compound also. It's easy to find out. Because if you put a double bond here, it has to give tolerance reagent test. So this cannot be the compound. If you put a double bond O in the middle carbon here, this doesn't give tolerance reagent test, but it gives phenyl hydrazone. Hence, this should be the compound. Compound A has to be this compound. 3-pentanone, isn't it? Okay. Any doubt here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one. The compound formed when malonic ester is heated with urea is.
Option C, ma'am.
You want me to repeat the
Barbitoric acid.
previous one, is it? Somebody has asking for to repeat that. The question number 15, is it? Okay. Let me go back to that. Someone wants to know. Just a moment. I'll come back to this. This is the one which is there. Yeah, 15th question. This question, you want me to repeat? Okay. So in this question, basically the hint is here. 1 second. No. Okay, fine. This one, butyric acid.
Option C, ma'am.
Barbitoric acid. That's correct. This is how it is formed. Okay. Here, basically, you should be, question number 15, somebody is asking. I'll get back to that. Once we finish this, I'll come back to that. Okay. Let me finish this one. The one which is already here. Okay. So this is, the question here is, what is glutaric acid? It is given in your textbook. You are expected to know that. Glutaric acid. Pentane dioic acid, isn't it? It is given in your textbook. You just see pentane 1,5-dioic acid. That's correct. CH2CO. Yes. Yes, correct. True. Butyric acid is just butanoic acid. Succinic acid is 1,4-dioic acid. COOH, CH2, twice, COOH. This is your succinic acid. Barbitoric acid is this. Okay. So malonic acid, basically, what is the formula for malonic acid is this. That's correct. Thrice no. It is 1 propane dioic acid. That is what is your malonic acid. Okay. CH2, COOH, COOH, and then you are going to make it react with NH2. That is urea, C double bond O, NH2. You should be getting a cyclic amide. So this will form a bond, this will form a bond, a cyclic amide will be formed. I'll show you the structure. This is the one. This is what is called as barbutyric acid. So this is your malonic acid, propane 1,3-dioic acid. This is urea, which is an amide. So you are going to get a cyclic amide here. Okay, so this will go with one of the hydrogens. This OH will go with one of the hydrogens. You are going to get the cyclic product. This is what is called as barbutyric acid. Okay, and this is how it is. So now somebody asked me for the question number. Hope all of you followed this, right?
Okay, ma'am.
So the correct option here is barbutyric.
Barbiturate acid.
That's correct. So someone for 15th question, let me come back to that. Okay. So in this case, the hint here is it gives a phenyl hydrazone, but not Tollens reagent test. Tollens reagent test is given by aldehyde group. So it doesn't give means it is not an aldehyde. Both aldehyde and ketone, they give this. This will not differentiate. Only this will differentiate. So because phenyl hydrazone is formed, it has to be a ketone. Now with the formula for this that is given to you, and he says the compound on reduction gives N-pentane, which means it is a derivative of pentane. So either you can put a ketonic group there, or you can put a ketonic group at the third position in this. See. So this will not give the Tollens reagent test. I mean, iodoform test, isn't it? This will give. Oh, that option is primary alcohol, an aldehyde, a ketone. This itself sufficient. This is not required. Iodoform is not required, so it is a ketone. I mean, I was asking you about this. If at all it is asked, they are going to ask you the compound. For that, you need one more data, which is iodoform. Okay, so in this case, you can simply write this as, okay, fine. Let's move on to the question number 17. This HCHO and HCOOH are distinguished by treating it with, yes, Tollens reagent, NaHC.
Option A, ma'am.
Tollens reagent, no, because see, very important factor here is C double bond O, this is that, and HCOOH if you write, in fact, it is a combination of both aldehyde group and acid group. It will give Tollens reagent. It will give all the reactions, oxidizing agent reactions as this aldehyde gives because it has got an aldehyde group. No, Benedict solution also it gives. Verhelling solution, I am telling you about all the reactions, oxidizing and reducing reactions of formaldehyde is also given by this. Only this. This is correct. Okay, NaHCO3. This reaction is given by only by the acid. You understood this? You have to understand this point here, which is compare these two structures. Aldehyde methanol and methanoic acid. C double bond OH. Don't you think this has got, it is a combination of aldehyde group and carboxylic acid group? And hence it gives all those reactions. So correct option is this. Many students do this, commit this mistake. Okay, consider the structure and mark it. Then you will remember that. Fine. Any doubt?
I have doubt, ma'am.
Pardon me? Understood.
This question not understood.
This one, HCOOH, HCO, you just compare the structure. It has
Same
got,
word.
it has got an
Same.
aldehyde. Yeah. This is an acid. This one also has got HCO group, aldehyde group. Both of them have got aldehyde group, isn't it? The compound which has got aldehyde group gives all these tests, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That is it. Fine.
Ma'am, formaldehyde
Yes,
and formic acid gives a tolerance statement, ma'am.
it gives tolerance test. Any aldehyde. In fact, it is very fast in this case. Immediately it will give. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Now you understood.
Yes, ma'am.
In
Yes,
fact, I have taught this and I have asked this question to so many students. None of them have been able to answer this. Okay, but now I think you will all answer, correct? Yes. Now we shall move on to the next question. This is an important. The compound which on reduction with LiAlH4 gives 2 alcohols yields. Correct answer for the previous one. Question number 15. 15 is ketone. Ketone. Yeah? Got it? And 17, one second, let me go back to that. 1 second. 17 is this.
Option B.
NaHCO. Option B. Yeah. And 16 also you want. This is the option for this, correct option. These 3 tests are given by both of them except this. This is given by only acids. Okay, and the next one is, let me go to that, 1 second. Question number 16, I suppose. This one is bar-butyric acid. That is the answer. This one. Okay, and the explanation is given here. I mean, now I think you understood this. Okay, fine. Now let's move on to the question number.
19.
Yeah, this one. The compound which on reduction with lithium aluminum hydride gives 2 tests. Basically, this is the one which differentiates between lithium aluminum hydride and sodium borohydride, NaBH4. NaBH4 cannot reduce an ester, whereas lithium aluminum hydride can. It will give 2 alcohols. That is correct.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks.
It will give only 1 alcohol, tertiary alcohol. Yeah, that's correct. The secondary alcohol, correct. So the alcohol that it is going to form will be C double bond O, OCH2, C2H5. Hydride donor, H minus will come as a nucleophile, forms bond with this, and this takes away this. When it goes out, CH3, C, initially it becomes O minus, this will be H, and this OC2H5. Now what happens, this oxygen would want to form the bond back here, this will come out. And it takes away 1 H plus from the medium, this will also take away, and you are going to get CH3, CH2OH, and another one is CH3, CH2. Both are same, CH3, CH, both will be the same alcohol, but it gives 2 moles of the same alcohols. Okay? If you take this, initially what happens, CH3, C double bond O, CH3, this will take away this, 1 hydride comes and forms a bond, and it in intermediate form would be CO minus, CH3 and H. This will just pick up a proton and it is going to become a secondary alcohol. This will give a primary alcohol. Okay, and in this case also it is possible CH3, C double bond O, Cl. So H will come and form a bond here. This becomes minus, O minus it becomes. This is going to be O minus initially. And then when it forms a bond, this will come out. And initially it is going to form an aldehyde. But aldehyde eventually will be reduced to alcohol, just like this. So therefore, 2 alcohols, if you want to get, you have to use an ester. Any doubt? Correct option is this. All of you got the explanation now? Go to the next one.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the product form, please? This perhaps is not there in your the material which I sent, but I found this important because we are using lithium aluminum hydride. Okay. So now initially what happens? This will go, H minus must come and form a bond here. So initially you will get this. This becomes O minus. This is Cl, and H has come from here. And it has formed a bond with that. Now this O minus, what it does initially, it will form a bond, it will throw this one out. You are going to get this one initially, double bond O and H. Next what happens, this will take away this, one more hydride will come and form a bond with this. This becomes O minus hydrogen. But this O minus has to take up a proton from the medium. In case you have got a D plus, that will come, and therefore no H plus is available in the medium. Only deuterium ion is present. So you will get OD here. This is H and H. Okay. Yeah. Understood now?
No, ma'am. Repeat once again, ma'am.
I will repeat this. Okay, fine. So this is your lithium aluminum hydride is a hydride donor. H minus comes and this is a nucleophile. So initially what happens, this is an acid chloride. Oxygen takes away this. It is going to become like this. It becomes CO minus. This is Cl. And this is positive here. H minus will come and form a bond here. So you are going to get this compound initially. This has become O minus and your hydrogen has come here. Okay. Now in the next step, this is a leaving group. This is becoming negative. This is slightly positive. So therefore, oxygen will form a bond with the negative charge there. It uses its electrons and forms a bond. This Cl has to come out. So now initially it becomes this one. Cl has come out. Okay. This is an aldehyde. So aldehyde again reacts with one more mole of lithium aluminum hydride. Again one H plus, H minus comes and forms a bond, plus H minus. So your carbonyl group is going to get one more hydrogen. This becomes O minus, hydrogen and one more hydrogen. Now this O minus has to take proton from the medium. You don't have protons. Instead of H2O, H plus, you have got D2O, D plus. Heavy water, heavy hydrogen ion. So that only has to come and form a bond with this oxygen now. No other positively charged ion is possible, is present there. So therefore, this is going to become OD. Okay, you should be able to identify this. Sometimes they will ask you this. Sometimes in the 4 options, they may have given you a D here, D there. So that will not come. Carbon will not take it. Okay, it will take it from the medium. Fine. D2. Instead of H2O, it is D2. Heavy water. Deuterium is the isotope of hydrogen. It is possible to use this. It is called as heavy water. H plus, D plus have got similar characteristics. Only thing is, it is a little bit heavier than this. Any doubt here?
No, ma'am.
Okay, very important question. Hope you understood this, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, good. Let's take up one more question, I think. Then it will be time, we shall stop it after this. In this reaction, CH3CHO plus HCN giving CH3CHOH CN. It is a simple reaction between acetaldehyde and HCN. So you are going to get this product. See, it becomes OH. You have got a CN here and then H, which on further hydrolysis would give an acid. COH, H, and this becomes COOH. Initially, you have got a chiral carbon here, the chiral carbon here as well, isn't it? The formation of this itself, both the isomers are possible because CH3, C double bond OH. This is a planar molecule, isn't it? This side is planar, sp2 hybridized. Both are possible. Both the isomers are possible. This is possible. Because it is planar, the bond can break, if you write it this way, C double bond OH, sp2 carbon is becoming sp3, isn't it? So when that happens, the bond can be formed from below or from above. So because of which both are possible, right? The correct option is this: 50% of D, 50% of L isomer is possible. Okay? Yeah. Any doubt here?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes. So it's almost time, so we should stop at this stage. Okay? In the next session, I think we are supposed to start with amines. Am I right?